Top Rank before he left there. It's not a surprise, people. He ended up in a company that's not looking to make legends.
Dillian Whyte. After fans booed Joshua, he went home and cried. There is still nothing confirmed regarding the next opponent for the IBF, WBO, WBA, IBO heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. Joshua is still scheduled to return on April the 13th at Wembley Stadium in London. The next probable opponent has still been pushed as Dillian Whyte. But now there are some doubts regarding that rematch scenario. Joshua was ringside last month at the O2 and watched Whyte score a sensational 11th round knockout of Derek Chisora. After the fight, Joshua and Whyte exchanged heated words. Eddie Hearn, who promotes Whyte and Joshua, Whyte was the front runner to face AJ on the April date, but according to Whyte's statement in recent interviews, there's been no movement on the rematch and there have been no negotiations on the matter. BoxingScene.com reported a few weeks ago that industry sources were suggesting the possibility. Does this just say we made it up in our heads? BoxingScene.com reported a few weeks ago that industry sources were suggesting the possibility that Joshua would challenge the entire layout of the next fight by making his American debut in May with a voluntary defense against Jarrell Big Baby Miller at Madison Square Garden. Whyte himself is well aware of circulating rumors that Joshua may pass over him in favor of Miller. While Joshua was sitting ringside at the O2, he conducted himself a brief interview and was unexpectedly booed by the live crowd. Whyte found it amusing, stating that Joshua was angered by the crowd's reaction. The Golden Goose got angry because fans booed him, Whyte said to IFL TV. He's like, why's my fans booing me? I'm a legend. Why are they booing me? He went home and cried. Whyte and Joshua collided back in December of 2015. There were plenty of fireworks then when Whyte rocked Joshua badly in the second round, but Joshua recovered and eventually knocked out Whyte. Andrew, reaction.
The longer Joshua stays out of the ring, the more his market is falling. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury is clearly the matchup that the boxing fans want to see. So I think it would be smart for Eddie Hearn to get Joshua in the ring here fast, get him with a good opponent. Now, I still believe it's going to be Dillian Whyte because the fight Dillian Whyte versus Joshua sells out there in the UK. I don't see that happening for the baby Miller. And the Miller fight is also not a view catcher on DAZN, where I think Dillian Whyte will be. Dillian Whyte just had arguably the knockout of the year in one of the last weeks of boxing. It's very good when you can get that kind of knockout. Did you see the photo that was caught of him howling? It looks like he's howling as Chisora is just laid out in a crucifix-like position on the mat. I mean, dude is out. It was a very good photo. It's a very good knockout. His market has never been higher. And I think they're kind of waiting for his buzz to die a little, and then they're going to lowball him to try to get the fight. And Dillian might have to take it because you don't get these opportunities all the time. So Dillian Whyte needs to pay attention to what's going on. But I don't think Miller is a serious candidate for Joshua right now. He's not a crossover star in America yet. We know that now. And so I don't see them doing. Look at the DAZN Joshua Parker fight. They said that bombed here in the States. So I don't think they want to do that twice. I think they would do the Dillian Whyte fight just because the buzz is bigger than on him. Put Miller on the undercard and then go from there. If Miller was to win, then you would bring Joshua back. Because to be honest with you people, if Tyson Fury and Wilder do the rematch, you best believe they're going to do a third fight. Right, Lee? You have a draw, then you have the rematch where whoever wins, most likely they're doing fight number 3. And that's where Joshua would have to come to the States later in 2019 and fight Miller at Madison Square Garden.
Al Bernstein makes the news.
What does that sound? Does that sound like it's good?
Yeah. I don't know.
You're not even
I'm listening. I'm listening. But because you're sick, I'm looking ahead and looking for articles. But look, Anthony Joshua is not going to find anybody dangerous. And until he fights Deontay Wilder and get that done, right, or Fury, I don't care. I just literally don't care. Anthony Joshua is just getting paychecks now. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not going to be serious. Look, the two heir apparents to the heavyweight throne are Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, right? That's it. There's no other debate. That's it.
The winner of that rematch, if it's Adley, clearly takes the number one ranking. I don't think Joshua can fight them off with a Dillian White victory or a Miller victory. I see the winner of the rematch this year taking the heavyweight crown from Joshua. That's how far we're from that Klitschko knockout.
Yeah, that's what, and I agree. Which takes us to Al Bernstein. Fury did not get a long count. Wilder rematch is a 50-50. I'll say this before I read the article, and I said this on a text conversation we had, and I can't give my source, Andrew, as you can understand. But I talked to somebody who is closely connected with the California Boxing Commission, and he said that was not a long count, and that was exactly the right move. You have to give the champion the chance. That was from somebody who would know, and said the count would have been exactly the same and done exactly the same way in the ring if he was involved in that fight. So there you go, just as an FYI for everybody listening. Al Bernstein, Fury did not get a long count. Wilder rematch is 50-50. Showtime's veteran boxing announcer Al Bernstein was beyond impressed with Tyson Fury's performance last month. The contest, which took place at Staples, ended in controversial 12-round decision. Fury put on one of the finest career performances and survived two vicious knockdowns. I wouldn't say two. One vicious knockdown, one decent knockdown. That sounds like PBC press release bullshit. What impressed most observers was Fury's ability to get up from the mat in not only the third since being inactive since November 2015. Okay. I mentioned during the fight that I've only seen two fighters who were off for this kind of layoff in which they suffered personal decline. One was Johnny Tapia, who was out of the ring for several years with terrible drug abuse problems, and he came back better than he was when he left. I can say the same thing for Tyson Fury, who, of course, suffered drug addiction issues, mental health problems, and came back. And honestly, he looked better than he did before, Bernstein told On the Ropes Boxing Radio. There's a plug for a show I don't know. Deontay Wilder hung in, and there was and registered those two knockdowns, the second of which looked for all the world like it was going to end the fight. It was an extraordinary night, and obviously there was much debate over the draw. Bernstein, like many others, felt the fight was over in the 12th and final round when Fury was knocked down hard and was laying on the canvas. Yeah, in my brain I thought, oh God, he's not getting up from this. But like Lazarus rising from the dead, he did, fucking Bernstein, but like Lazarus rising from the dead, he did afterwards with Paulie Malignaggi. We retimed the knockdown, and I know some people were saying it was a long count, but I don't think it really was. From the time the referee went to the count on him, which wasn't long after he got knocked down, we put a stopwatch to it, and it was 9.5 seconds when he got up. I don't think he got a long count. I know some people think he did, but it didn't appear that way. Wilder made the point that Fury had to be perfect for 12 rounds, and he only had to perfect 1 second. That actually didn't turn out to be true because he was perfect for 2 seconds when he scored those two knockdowns and couldn't finish Tyson Fury. I think the rematch will go off as a 50-50 proposition. If it goes off at all, Andrew.
It's going to go off. If I was Showtime, I would stop talking about the long count and start talking about the rematch. Let's get into negotiations. Listen, they control all of these guys. They have Tyson Fury, they had Joshua, and they had Wilder. So why take a step backwards now? You want the unification between the two, so you have to get over the Tyson Fury Wilder situation first. Let's just start getting into these negotiations. I don't really want to see either Wilder or Fury go anywhere else but a rematch leading up. Now listen, like I said, you guys, if the rematch is another classic fight, they're going to do a third one, which is not a bad thing for the sport. But let's get this ball rolling, because I don't want this thing to carry on for years. Joshua lose to, some nobody, or Dillian White, who already has losses and he already has a win over something, just something that's going to mess up what could have been the biggest heavyweight fight in history. That's the winner of Tyson Fury versus Wilder rematch going up immediately against Joshua. I believe that fight at that point is going to be huge, Lee. If it is Fury versus Joshua, you could be talking about the greatest British boxer, UK boxer of all time coming out of that match. If it's Tyson Fury, you're going to be seeing a lot of people say he's the greatest heavyweight of all time coming out of that match. If he is to defeat Wilder, Joshua, and Klitschko to his legacy, not too many heavyweights that did that and stood undefeated in their career. So I just want Showtime to hurry up with this process. Don't drag this out too long, because all of those men have been on the canvas except Deontay. And he's the one that I say has no skills, and that's a slap in my face. He's the one that I said blinks, yet all of the top-rated heavyweights have been on the canvas except him. Now, he's been hurt, but he hasn't been dropped. So before that happens, or he gets knocked down and can't get back, let's get these fights going already. So I'm over the long count. I'm over the controversial decision. Let's start talking rematch for this year.
All right. Mario Lemieux dreams of not playing hockey, but a bout with Canelo. The fact that Mario Lemieux, former hockey player...
this guy...
I don't even know how Mario Lemieux keeps being brought up, and now he wants Canelo, right? Corey Edelman of Boxing Scene reporting. Nobody explicitly said that the winner of the ill-fated Mario Lemieux-Toronto Johnson clash was contracted to face the winner of the Canelo Alvarez-Rocky Fielding, because in boxing, it's tough to make such a promise, and look beyond an opponent is taboo. I don't know why he thinks he gets that fight, Andrew.
Well, because he's Golden Boy. That's the only reason. He went into Oscar's office. Oscar and them guys told him, you keep winning, we're giving you Canelo. And the fight's not hot. It's not hot in Canada anymore. I haven't looked up Lemieux's record, but I know he has losses. Didn't he knock out Spike O'Sullivan in his last fight?
They brought that up in the article.
Yeah, that doesn't get you Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, like, seriously. This is a Baby Miller type situation De La Hoya has, that Eddie has in the heavyweights with Miller and Joshua. They're kind of just there in case you need someone, right? It's a dick in a jar. How about that? You know how guys say they're friends to girls, but we all know that's a lie?
It's a
that's
dick
what
in
these
a
guys
jar.
are doing right now.
God, I wish I could call this show a dick in a jar. That's this show. Our show is a dick in a jar.
Miller and what's his name? Lemieux, dick in a jar. That's all they are.
Wow, that is amazing, Andrew. That is amazing. That is the quote of the day. Ishe Smith, if my body feels good, I'll keep going. For those of you who don't know, the long-standing favorite person I like to talk about the most, Ishe Smith of The Contender, is still going. And guess who wrote his article, Andrew?
Oh, no.
Lem Satterfield.
Oh, okay, good.
First run-on sentence. By the way, I'm reading this whole article because I guarantee there is nothing but glory in it. First paragraph that is one sentence for the listening audience. Former junior middleweight champion Ishe Smith has endured a career characterized by fights taken on a short notice. Despite majority and split decision losses and general heartache, so much so, that there is life's nadir during a period that's as his life's nadir. Is nadir a word? I gotta look this up. Hold on. Is that a real word?
Don't ask me. What the hell? I wasn't even listening.
I don't know. Nadir, the lowest point in fortunes. All right, Lem. Good job. Using a word that no boxing fan is going to know.
Yeah.
Fucking dick. Nadir, during a period in 2008-2009, Sugar Shane pondered suicide. What? Sugar Shane pondered suicide? He's just getting better and better. But Smith,
you didn't know about it? Yeah, yes,
no,
you did. That's
I would have. Andrew, I'm going to be honest. I would have rooted for it.
Oh my gosh!
But Smith, another run-on sentence. But Smith has preserved